because it was a Fed, for whatever reason, they moved the camera and they turned off the microphones. However, the people in the courtroom it was not protected testimony. So the reporters in the courtroom have written about it. The long and short is the prosecution or the state questioned the FBI agent about the drone footage, basically authenticated the footage, not authentic. They didn't ask anything about the identity of the people within the footage, because I don't think the pilot or the cameraman could have testified that is definitely Kyle Rittenhouse. He doesn't know. He has no personal knowledge of that. But they testified about the footage itself and why it was created. Richards then says, we want a high-res version of it. And then the FBI guy says, we deleted it. And then Binger objects and says, we don't control the government, the federal government. And the judge says, he's like, excuse me, what are you talking about? What do you mean? He actually says, if this is a murder trial, if there's going to be some cloak and dagger stuff, we need to know why. So right now, that FLIR image that Richards used in his opening is not actually admissible. The judge has not admitted that evidence. They have withheld that issue for a later time. I assume he probably asked them for briefs on it.
I mean, that's all nice. I don't think we need that footage, but are we not? Is nobody really flabbergasted at the fact that the FBI is deleting high resolution video footage? That they were.
I am shocked.
Well, that they had it in the first place. I mean, are they watching this go down in real time and then not intervening, or do they just have drones out there? They don't know what's going on, but they're gathering the footage.
I think Aviva, I think that's exactly it. Is that if the public knew how much the FBI was involved, how much they knew, how much they actively knew and did not intervene, I think they would be shocked and appalled. How much the FBI sat there and watched businesses be burned down and did not intervene.
Well, that would be one thing. If they're watching, if they're just surveilling and they don't know what they're getting, they'll triage through it afterwards. That's one thing. But if they're sitting there in real time watching little thermal images of people running around hearing gunfire and they're not intervening, I mean, I already know what I think of FBI and CIA and the intelligence in terms of potentially, not only not stopping these things, but potentially allowing them to go on. This would be further evidence of that. If they have drones up in the sky, which means they're recording and they either know what's going on in real time or they don't. And then afterwards, they know what went down, but they don't disclose it. And then they delete the high resolution footage of it. Inexcusable.
If anyone thinks that footage has been deleted, let me suggest to you that when you take a picture with your phone, either Apple or Google, it takes several steps to go through and delete that footage from the automatic cloud storage backup. And if you don't think that drone footage is being live uploaded to a secure server at the FBI and then backed up on a fail-safe server or cloud storage that the FBI is using, I got a bridge to sell you. That footage still exists, guaranteed. I guarantee you the FBI still has the high-res footage. There's no way it was deleted. It's a pain to delete things these days.
Properly. To delete it properly.
Yes.
And the FBI...
Well, unless you're Hillary.
Right.
It was a pain for her too. It was very difficult. But
she had to use bleach bit and a hammer for that. No, the FBI is not in the business of deleting things. This is the organization which I will go on record and claim boldly, and I dare the FBI to challenge me with a defamation suit. They are the largest holders of cheese pizza videos and photos on the entire planet. They have the largest collection of it. They don't delete any of that stuff. And we're to believe that they're deleting random drone footage. They probably have drone footage of nothing happening archived going back for several years. But this one, though, they went in and deleted. Come on now. I don't buy it for a second.
If they did do that, first of all, when would they have deleted it? When would they have deleted it? Within the 48 hours of the actual shooting? I mean, they knew the evening of that there was an incident. I don't know how to call it without imputing legal consequences. A conclusion. Right. They knew the night of. So what did they do? We didn't realize and we didn't get it back, and then it auto deleted and recorded over it. Bull crap. I mean, bull crap all around. And
Yeah,
it's
too many
that's what's possible.
coincidences and gross negligence required.
I-
It's like you said, complete bullshit.
I was recording on my RCA VHS camcorder from my helicopter drone, and I hit rewind before I hit record the next day. So it just taped over it. I'm really sad about it because I also had the reruns of MASH on that VHS tape, and now those are gone too. So I mean, you guys are mad, but imagine how I feel. I don't have my MASH reruns. Like what are we talking about? This is 2021 or 2020 at the time. Everything is digital. Nothing is deleted. Everything is uploaded automatically to backups and fail safes. And the government doesn't. Isn't there a regulation on government record?
It's
Sorry.
implausible. It is more suspicious than anything. The only thing I'm saying is how exonerating. Like as far as I'm concerned, the video footage you have from the ground is as exonerating as you need. What could have been? I guess it could be incriminating for other purposes that don't have to deal with being exonerating for Rittenhouse. But if anybody believes that the FBI deleted the only high-res video footage of that drone footage, you're naive to the point of willful blindness or worse.
Mhm.
You can be no better than naive to the point of willful blindness. It's inconceivable.
I think move to dismiss on it. In all honesty, move to dismiss or move for a mistrial and say, look, if the government, because we know that state prosecutors have coordinated with the FBI on this. We know
Yes.
that it's happened because they had a copy of the footage. They had it 5 months before the defense had it. They didn't disclose it. So we know that this existed at a time when it would have been easily obtainable and probably not deleted. And so if they don't want to produce it, move to dismiss and say, look, there's high res FLIR image out there taken by the government that the government has refused to produce, highly prejudicial to the defendant. Move to dismiss all charges.
It's a legitimate point. I mean, it's disclosure of potentially exculpatory but relevant evidence to the defendant for the benefit of the defendant as a principle of fundamental justice. So
Yeah.
we deleted evidence that could have totally exonerated you. Sorry, we're only the FBI.
Yes.
And
And the
you
fact that we
made-
don't know the scope, that's the whole thing. We don't know the scope of what they have. And they could have so much that it could, like you said, completely exonerate them, make this something where they would drop all the charges, be completely done.
Right. And even if you don't win on that motion, Schrader already seems to be of the mind that the prosecution's on kind of thin ice. The prosecution is losing tons of motions. They're losing their objections. They have some dishonest practices that Schrader has called out. They have some narrative issues that Schrader's called out. And so even if you lose this motion, you get it in the judge's mind. Judge, we know this footage is there. They're refusing to produce it. Maybe you don't dismiss the case on it, but they're going to refuse to produce it. And that just it's that little bit of help that might help you win on an objection or a motion later on, or it might be the basis for a judgment notwithstanding a verdict, where the judge overturns a jury conviction. Like I think you put out that motion to dismiss. If they're not going to produce the footage, that's what you do. And I'm guessing the judge asked them for briefings on that footage specifically. And if they brief it, they should say, look, if the government doesn't want to produce it, we're fine with that. Let's dismiss the case then, because the evidence is out there.